Why do we look for ghosts? It is a fascinating question. People have told ghost stories for centuries. They are shared around campfires. They are whispered in darkened rooms. The idea of a world beyond our own is exciting. It taps into our deep-seated curiosity about life, death, and what might come next. We are natural explorers. We have mapped the earth and looked to the stars. The paranormal feels like one of the last great frontiers. It is a mystery that could be right here, possibly in our own homes. This enduring mystery pulls people into ghost hunting. The thrill of the hunt is a powerful draw. Imagine walking through a dark, silent building. You have heard stories about it. One of the most famous ideas in ghost hunting is the cold spot. The theory is simple. When a ghost is trying to manifest, it needs energy. It draws this energy from its surroundings. This pulls heat out of the air, creating a sudden localized drop in temperature. Ghost hunters often feel these pockets of cold air as they walk through a supposedly haunted location. They will stop and say, "Did you feel that? It just got really cold right here." For them, it's a classic sign a spirit is nearby. However, science offers a much simpler explanation for these chilly patches. Our world is full of drafts and natural air currents. Cold air is denser than warm air, so it sinks. In old, poorly insulated buildings, the very places people love to ghost hunt, this is extremely common. A small crack in a window frame, a gap under a door, or an unsealed chimney can create a steady stream of cold air that pools in certain areas. This phenomenon is called convection. You can walk from a warm spot directly into one of these cold air pockets without realizing its simple, natural source. Another cornerstone of modern ghost hunting is the electronic voice phenomenon, or EVP. The theory goes that spirits can communicate with us through electronic devices. They can impress their voices onto digital recordings, or onto analog recordings, creating sounds that were not audible at the time of the recording. Ghost hunters enter a quiet room and turn on a digital recorder. They ask questions into the silence. "Is there anyone here with us? Can you tell us your name?" Later they play back the files and listen for faint whispers or words that seem to answer. These recorded voices are treated as direct communication from the dead. People believe in EVPs because hearing a voice where there was none feels like irrefutable proof. The voice is on the recording. You can play it over and over. Scientists call this auditory pareidolia. Our brains perceive meaningful sounds in random noise. We're wired to find speech-like patterns, like hearing a phone ring and a running shower. Static and background noise give our brains a canvas to make words. Suggestion is powerful. Doesn't that sound like Get Out? Others are much more likely to hear that specific phrase. Orbs are perhaps the most common type of photographic evidence in ghost hunting. They appear in pictures as translucent, circular balls of light. The theory is that these orbs are the spiritual energy of deceased people captured on camera as they move through a space. Believers will point to the number of orbs in a photo, their color, their apparent motion as proof of a high level of paranormal activity. For many amateur ghost hunters, capturing an orb in a photograph is their first big success. It's honestly pretty exciting to look at a picture you just took and see something in it that you didn't see with your own eyes. In photography, this effect is known as backscatter. It happens when a camera's flash reflects off tiny particles that are very close to the lens. These particles can be anything: dust pollen, tiny insects, moisture droplets in the air. There's a very old and persistent belief that paranormal activity increases during a full moon. This idea is not limited to ghosts, it's also linked to werewolves. Madness. The word lunacy comes from luna. Increased visits to hospital emergency rooms. In the world of ghost hunting, many teams will plan investigations to coincide with a full moon. They believe the moon's gravitational pull somehow affects the spirit world, making ghosts more active and easier to detect. This theory adds ancient, mystical tradition to modern ghost hunting. The belief is rooted in centuries of folklore and observation. Before artificial lighting, the full moon had a dramatic effect on nights. Despite the strength of this belief, extensive scientific studies found no correlation between the moon and paranormal events, human behavior, hospital admissions. They consistently found no statistical increase in strange events during a full moon. Any perceived link is just confirmation bias. Famous haunted locations provide a fascinating stage for these theories. Consider the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. It is a crumbling Gothic prison where thousands of inmates lived and died in harsh conditions. Today, it is a hotspot for ghost hunters. Visitors and investigators report hearing disembodied whispers, seeing shadowy figures in cell blocks, and feeling inexplicably cold, hoping to capture an EVP of the infamous Al Capone. When we look at a place like Eastern State with a critical mind, We can see how natural explanations fit perfectly. The penitentiary is old, decaying, and full of dust. This makes it a perfect environment for creating photographic orbs through backscatter. Another famous case is the Enfield poltergeist in England. In the late 1970s, a family claimed to be terrorized by a supernatural force that threw furniture and even seemed to make one of the children levitate. However, later analysis by skeptics and even some of the investigators themselves revealed a different story. They were caught on camera bending spoons. So, where does this leave us? We have explored some of the most popular theories in the world of ghost hunting. We have seen how cold spots, EVPs, and orbs can be explained by natural physics and the workings of our own minds. Science provides logical, testable explanations for phenomena that many people attribute to ghosts. These explanations are based on evidence and experimentation. They show us how easily our senses can be fooled, especially when we are expecting something out of the ordinary. However, the goal is not to simply dismiss every strange experience. The world is a weird and wonderful place, and there are certainly things that we do not fully understand. The point of critical thinking is not to eliminate mystery, but to approach it with an honest and open mind. Ultimately, what you choose to believe is up to you. Perhaps you have had a personal experience that science cannot easily explain. Maybe you find the idea of a world beyond our own to be a source of comfort or fascination. The search for answers, whether they are found in science or in the shadows, is a journey worth taking. The final conclusion is yours and yours alone to make.